We're May 2nd. It's a Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. It was exactly what I thought it would be on Friday. Bitcoin bounced around, hit 37s, bounced back up. You always hear descending triangles. It's going to 37.5. There's so many market forces right now. You can't really descending triangle like you used to be able to. The world's pretty much in turmoil. The U.S. is heading towards a recession. Technically, if we kept the math properly, we should be, although coming out of COVID, you get a bounce. When I say coming out of COVID, I mean out of the pandemic where the government, COVID didn't shut anything down. The governments shut everything down. So after they shut everything down and restarted, then they started clapping like seals, that the economy started to heat up. And that's what governments do. They're very, very shifty like that. So interesting news from the markets. There's a lot of different things going on worldwide. Japan is having issues with their money. I mean, fiat issues all over the place, including the United States. Strangely enough, the dollar's strong right now. That is not going to stand. The ruble is back to being about as strong as it was before the war. Russia's tying it to gold. So, you're seeing a lot of fiat issues, except for obviously the move to tie the ruble to gold was a great move by Russia and helped solidify some of the things that we're doing to them and counteract that. But our monetary system is tied to oil and gas, and we have an administration that's openly attacking it. So I don't expect it to do well. When you're attacking what actually ties to your financial system, that's not going to end well. So that's what we have going on here. So just expect whatever ups and downs you see in the crypto market in the short term. I think by the summer, you're going to start to see the bull run come back as the dollar weakens. There's an inverse curve that tends to happen. I actually saw Goldman, they put out a report saying that it's time to get bullish on stocks, which I thought was really interesting, but they don't tend to say this stuff flippantly. They're not doing it like for market manipulation like a lot of groups have done over the years. They basically are saying that they're leaning bullish in a note Friday from Goldman Scott Rubner, which is sent to the bank's entire client base. So it's actually, a big deal. But basically what he's saying is corporate return back to open window on Monday with dry powder. So he thought, there would be some demand, some buying of the dip. Pensions flipped to buy given recent outperformances of bonds versus stock. So that should carry into the week. S&P index gamma turned negative on Thursday, which is the first time since March. They had a synthetic short gamma. Just basically a bunch of sentiment is most bearish since the market crashed. However, there was, whenever people, again, whenever regular people are selling, the people with tons of money, that's when they tend to go in. And that's why they have a ton of money. And the people that sell when things are bad don't. So there's all sorts of bond news in their report, short leverage news, inflow news, long story short, with all these ridiculous charts. And really, a lot of them are very, very myopic in terms of what they're covering, equity sentiment indicators. You have to factor in so many things to even make a prediction. So they've got the good news is they've got a mild bullish trend on the stock market. Now, crypto is mirroring the stock market two out of four right now. It used to be a four. No, I shouldn't say out of four. It's out of five, but 2 out of 4 in terms of mirroring. Bitcoin's mirroring the stock market. Ethereum mirrors it the most. So to hear that, you should expect, I think, a pretty decent week. It doesn't mean that it's going to be great. Certainly, we've got a long way to go before the gains are up. My baby Solana had a rough week. Their beta went down for 7 hours. They got hit with a bot attack. The bots overwhelmed the system. I think there were 5 million hits per hour or per. I mean, it was a lot, and the beta for the net went down for 7 hours while they restarted and figured out how to handle this bot issue. I think what they're going to do is start charging the bots for failed transactions, a certain amount. So if it fails, then they actually get charged a 10th of Solana or 100th of a Solana or whatever it is. And if they keep going, it keeps increasing. So it'll basically price the bots out of the market automatically. Now, if your second one goes through, so say it was an error and it was human error, you get your money back. So it'll reward the people doing it right, punish the people doing wrong. And I think that's one of the best ways to handle it. Twitter's thinking about doing something similar on Twitter. I saw a post where, and again, I follow the Elon stuff because he's very big for crypto. Strangely enough, whenever Elon talks, people listen. So he's talking about doing something with Doge, where getting rid of all these bots, where everybody has to put up a Doge. And if something gets flagged as being bottish or spamish, the account loses the Doge. If it turns out to be legit, again, they get the Doge back, and then it escalates over time so that he can start financially weeding out the profitability of having these bots go wild on these public events or public channels. He's been under fire and he's been pretty hilarious about it. I always enjoy it when everyone goes after him. Strange times when people are going after somebody who's after free speech, but that's where we are. Because again, the world is a very, very strange place. And final piece of news, in terms of major news, Warren Buffett. Warren has been around for quite some time. He's a genius at markets. He deserves respect in that regard. The guy's had a long history of being right. But I think, when you get to be a much older person, technology, he's never been a technology person. He just hasn't. He's been more on the banking side, real estate side, commodity side. He's more of your bread and butter, steak and potatoes type guy when it comes to investing. Technology, those people that are on the more real estate and pragmatic side tend to not really get technology that well. Very few people understand both of those worlds. So you see very few, real estate investors coming in and investing in tech companies without a very long due diligence period. When I was starting my previous company, we were talking with a lot of real estate people, and they didn't understand the tech world or how the money flowed or how you make money or the advantages of it. For them, they like plots of land that they can put buildings on and know what that building's likely to get cost per square foot, know what their cost per square foot to build is. It becomes very comforting. It's like comfort food for them to invest and have a pretty good idea what their return will be. Technology is a whole different animal. You could invest a lot of money and lose it, or it could 30x or more. So you have to sort of know your landscape. So I think the reason I say that is Buffett said that he wouldn't buy all the Bitcoin in the world for $25. And it was one of those moments where I said, well, tell me you don't know shit about Bitcoin without saying the words, I don't know shit about Bitcoin. So obviously, if he had all the supply, there'd be no demand. Nobody's going to go crazy about trying to get a Bitcoin if somebody has all of them. And obviously, that puts the entire network in a single person's hands, so that there is no security. There's no distribution of income. There's no distribution of banking. There's no equality of potential. Where you can basically have individuals that don't have high credit be able to actually open up accounts and own, an appreciating asset with depreciating elements to it, so that it mathematically is set to appreciate over time. So Buffett just doesn't get it at all, and him and his right hand person, they just are like kind of at this point sound like two old men whenever they talk about it, and it's one of those things. There's a way you can actually have lunch with Warren Buffett. The last time it went for $4 million, which I'm fascinated by, because you can watch enough Warren Buffett stuff and read his books to understand what he's going to say. You're not going to get any nuggets of wisdom that are special out of having lunch with Warren Buffett. The only way you'd have a $4 million time with him is if you had a project that's worth many times more than that, and you're 100% sure or 99% sure he's going to want to be in on it, and or his connections would be good. I don't understand why he'd pay $4 million to listen to a guy that has literally like 80 years of documented thoughts. It's not like his thoughts aren't out there, but either way, people pay that money. If I had that type of money, I'd love to just pepper him with, tons of crypto talk until he was ready to pay $5 million to end the session early and go back home and maybe make $1 million out of it. I think there's a chance that could happen. I could annoy the shit out of him and send him have him send me more money. I think that's a good strategy. Bitcoin people do that. We're like the CrossFitters or the vegans of the technology world. So I try to keep these at about 10 minutes. We're at the 10 minutes now. Right now, Bitcoin's at about 38.5, 38,409, slightly going down since we've jumped on here. And, some people are saying it'll go to 37.5 and bounce. Who cares? Just hang in there. Everybody who buys Bitcoin shouldn't be doing it to flip it. It's not a flippable asset. It's something we should all be holding for 10 years and laughing, because it does go down and then it bounces back up. That's what Bitcoin does. So in the meantime, everybody be happy. Everybody have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to jump on here and do one about the company. But I hope everybody has a great evening, and we'll talk soon.